What's going on, LEGO Maniacs? It's Ty, the LEGO guy here, and welcome to another LEGO Star Wars review. Today we're taking a look at the brand new Luke Skywalker's X-Wing fighter. That's set 75301. It has 474 pieces, 4 minifigs, came out in 2021, and it retails for $50 US. This one's a very debatable model. We're gonna get into its positives and its negatives, find out, really how good or bad is this set. We're also going to compare it against actual movie pics or actual pictures of the X-Wing fighter. Anyways, this one should get interesting, but enough talk, let's get right into it. And to start us off, we'll take a look at the actual box. So this one's quite similar to previous X-Wings. It shows the X-Wing and the Death Star trench. Nice looking artwork. In the bottom right, it has the figs, and on the top right, it has Vader in his minifigure form. On the side of the box, there's literally nothing, but then on the back of it, it shows all the features, which we'll get into. It's kind of like it's in its landed form, maybe when it's back. Yeah, when it's back on Yavin, you can vaguely make out Y-Wings and X-Wings, which is actually, nice little detail. I'm all about the detail. And then on the side of the box, literally just shows the X-Wing on the top. You'll find Luke. And then on the bottom, which we're still anxiously waiting for it, it talks about the Skywalker saga. Really hoping to get that game soon. But yeah, that's the box. Let's now take a look at the model. And to start off the X-Wing, we'll begin by giving you guys a 360 view. Definitely smaller than what we've become accustomed to. However, its size is basically identical to the 2004 and 2006 X-Wings. We're gonna break it down area by area, but yeah, let's now get into the fine details. And looking at it from a little bit more of a bird's eye view, you can kind of take in more of the details. So you'll notice it has a lot of stickers. They add some nice detail, as much as we're not sticker people. I like the fact that it says Red 5 on the side, and there's actually even stickers on the side of the X-Wing, which is kind of crazy. So on the wings, the side, everywhere, even on the engines, you have stickers on the top as well. So there's a lot, however, it does add some nice detail. Let's actually take a look at the cockpit. Just raise that open to reveal a little computer piece. Luke Skywalker can very easily be pulled in and out of it, and he fits in there nice and snug. R2, same deal. They basically have had this since, back in 1999, which is crazy, but if it's not broke, don't fix it. Now, what's really interesting about this, well, before we get into the S-folds, which is actually quite interesting, but what's interesting is the landing gear does not retract into itself, unlike previous models, but they don't stick out too much, so I don't think it's that big of a deal. The other thing I really liked about this X-Wing are the engine details. Very similar again to the 2018, but how you kind of work the S-folds, and that's basically the main feature of this. You get some spring-loaded shooters. We all know how those work. There's 2 of them. Bang, shoots off. But to stick it into attack position, you literally just click this button and bang. That's literally how simple it is. So that I thought was actually pretty awesome. To stick it into landed form, just lay it on a table and bang, it's done. So I do like the mechanics of this one. It's one of my favorite mechanics for how the wings work, like opening and closing. I think I still like, no, you know what? This is just as good as the 2018. The only thing that's kind of irritating is if you want to stick it back into attack position or into flight mode, you got to move it in together manually, unless you want to lay it on a table, whereas the previous models, you didn't have to do that. But yeah, that pretty well does the model itself. Let's actually now take a look at the minifigs. And the first 2 we'll take a look at is Luke and R2. Let's actually give you guys a 360 view of them. R2 hasn't changed for years, which is kind of crazy. They've basically had him the same since 1999. They just sort of changed the printing. Not a whole lot. Luke does have back face printing, which is kind of nice. Kind of has like a grin without his goggles on. And then in the front, He has his goggles on and, you know, he's still sort of happy. He also has some nice leg printing. Torso printing, not a whole lot changed. They did revert back to the earlier Rebel pilot helmets, unlike the 2018, which were kind of cool but grossly oversized. But yeah, those are the first two figs. Let's now take a look at the final two, which are probably the best figs in this set. And what's interesting is this is the first time that we ever got General Dodonna. This is my favorite fig out of the set, mainly because I don't have any form of him, so happy to get him. Then we also got Leia, who's somewhat exclusive as well. She only came in the 2019 Tantive 4, to my knowledge. Let's just flip them around. Show you guys the back face printing. They both have back torso printing, obviously, and back face printing, which is kind of nice. And now that we got their hair pieces back on, we'll continue. All in all, I was very happy with the minifig selection that was included. Yes, it's cool to get different unique Rebel troopers, or Rebel pilots, I should say. But the fact that we got this awesome general is just fantastic. And this somewhat rare Leia. And I really like their detail as well. I like his detail for his leg printing. Leia, they could have maybe given us some normal legs, but she is basically wearing a dress. It is a dress. So I think that that actually is a little bit more accurate. But yeah, those are the figs. What we're gonna do now is take a look at the movie pics just to see how accurate this set really is. And the first pic I thought we could take a look at is the very first time we ever saw the X-Wing fighter in flight mode. These things look beautiful. And I have to say that I think that the 2021 X-Wing does capture the look of this X-Wing. I do feel that it is a bit undersized. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on this though. I went back and forth because I'm like, is it accurate to scale? Is it not accurate to scale? It's actually pretty hard to tell, but I do think it is a little bit smaller than it should be. Although I still think that overall, it really does capture the look of the X-Wing. Let's now move on to the next pic. And here we have the second pic, which is actually taken from Encyclopedia. If you've been watching these reviews, you guys know that I love checking encyclopedias. I just think it's awesome. It adds a little bit more to the review. You guys can pause it. You can read up on it if you want as well. This is beautiful. Like all the different little facts they give us on the actual X-Wing, how we can see how the interior kind of works. One thing I'd love them to do is if they made the inside of the cockpit, if you look at that little picture where it shows all the controls, that would be fantastic if they did that in Lego form. Be a little tricky, but I think it'd be really cool. Main thing I wanted to mention here again is just the pilot. So as you can see, he is quite small in comparison to the X-Wing, which leads me more so to believe that this is undersized. But I feel with the size that it is, it does capture it. It looks accurate. Doesn't maybe look as good as the 2018. However, I think that the angles, the overall look is accurate. Anyways, those are the pictures. Let's now get into the end of the review and get my final thoughts. Well guys, that was my review. Do hope you enjoyed it. Honestly, this X-Wing is not nearly as bad as people think. I actually think it's like a miniature version of the 2018, which isn't a bad thing. Yes, it doesn't have as much detail. It's probably a little bit under scale. However, I still think it really does give the right feel of an X-Wing. I also think it's pretty similar in size to the 2004 and 2006. I will be having a comparison out. It may already be out or very shortly will come out of all the X-Wings compared, just because I actually think that this is a pretty decent model. Yes, I don't think it's as good as the 2018. However, it definitely gets the job done. Like, it looks very accurate to the way it's supposed to look in the movie, just maybe a little bit smaller than it should be. But let me know what your guys' thoughts are on this one, if you like it, if you don't. Any areas you think they could maybe improve on it. Always interested to know what your guys' take is. But yeah, that's all I got for you today. But if you like this video, leave it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, definitely consider subscribing and click that bell so you're notified for any future reviews, comparisons, etc. that we do for Star Wars. Basically every Tuesday we do something Star Wars oriented, and yeah, it gets interested and sometimes a little heated. But yeah, that's all I got for you again. But thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.